I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. So my life you have been faithful. No, you have been so able. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. Was all oh yes you have. So able. Oh, I would sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life, I surrender. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is your goodness is running after me. But my life, surrender. Your goodness is running. All my life you have been faithful. Mm. All my life you have been so with every breath that I am able. I'm gonna say Kita oh, holy me, Osibaka Sana oh,
Radio Ecclesia.
Yes, we honor you.
Radio Ecclesia. Radio Ecclesia. Radio Ecclesia, to inform and inspire faith. Radio Ecclesia.
Ako, ako yung Yesu Kriste, Yesu Yesu re go amogela mo sermong sa gago sa memorata sa Radio Ecclesia station that informs and inspires your faith. Re ga se jalo ka tlhamallo mo toropokgolo ga borone jalo re tla go wena re le mo toropokgolo ga borone jalo e le sermong sa gago sa memorata yo Catholic #1 online radio station re le yo jalo re tlhaga jalo ka maranyane jalo a Facebook jalo re maranyane a Facebook le batswana Catholics jalo Catholic Diocese of Gaborone Radio Ecclesia BW jalo moretsetso re go amogele re itumele gore a bo le bontlha bongwe le karolo ya thulaganyo ye tlhotlhwane mo go rara le mo go morwa le mo moyeng o boitshepo jaaka ne le mo tshimologong le jaana le ka gale le ka metlha le metlha amen. Jaaka ne ke buile moretsetso o tshwantse nako le nako ke ne ke go gakolole jalo gore ke go gakolole ka tselentseng jalo gore wa bo o reditse Radio Ecclesia yo Catholic #1 online radio station e le jalo sermamo sa ntlha mo lefatsheng la Botswana mo toropokgolo ya ntlha ya lehatshe la Botswana jalo e le sermamo sa tumelo sa kereke e katoliki mo sedikeng sa Gaborone jalo mme re goroga gongwe le gongwe ko leng gore o teng jalo re goroga jalo ko Diocese of Francistown re goroga jalo Diocese of Kimberley re goroga jalo gongwe le gongwe ko ka tswang o re itse tengwe le mo katoliki jalo re goroga jalo ko Kgalagadi jalo re goroga jalo ko Western Dinari jalo re goroga jalo dinari tsotlhe tse leng gore ke tsa kereke e katoliki jalo mo mo lehatsheng ka bophara jalo ke go tshepisa goreng seromo mase re fa go direla le go tsisetsa mananeo a e leng goreng a go kgothatsa jalo mo tumelong le mo botshelong jwa gago moreetsetsi gompieno jalo ga ke nosi jalo ga o ka gakologelwa jalo ne re simolola jalo ngwaga jalo re bua jalo ka New Year's resolution e le gone gore re simolola jalo re palama thaba ka tselentseng jalo re palama thaba jalo re tlhatloga jalo re tla bo re bua ka dio tse e leng gore di a go ama jalo o le mokeresete o le morati le morotloetsi wa seromoma se sa Radio Ecclesia ina re ha re simolola jalo ke go tsenyetse pina jalo ka bose mtokova jalo a re ransom me o Lord nthekolle jalo mo babeng ba me mo ba bolaing ba me nthekolle jalo morena hela ka o itse le gore morena wa rona Jesu Kriste o re swetse jalo a re swetse jalo mo sefapanong jalo a re swetse jalo mo sefapanong go rekolola boleo jwa me le jwa gago gore naya botshelo ka letlotlo ka tselentseng jalo mme ga re lebelela mo kgwedi jalo ke January jalo a tlhola malatsi a le 12 jalo re le mo go labone this is the Thursday of the second week in ordinary time jalo gakologela moreetsi gore o reeditse Radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith. Moreetsi ke tla nama ke go tshameketse jalo ke ba khwaere ke gate Serumula Academy e le khwaere hela jalo e leng goreng ba opela difela hela tse di monate Serumula Performing Arts Academy choir a re ba itumele ba re ikelelwe. ele jalo Serumula Performing Arts Academy jalo e le choir hela jalo e tlhaga jalo ko Lesotho jalo ba opela difela hela ba di opela ka tselentseng jalo ba di opela monate hela thata moreetsetso jaaka ne ke buile fa thulaganyo ya rona simologa jalo thulaganyo ke yone ya the Catholic Morning Show jalo e leng gore tsatsi le tla be tlhaga mo go wena nako le nako fa re nako jalo go tsisetsa dio se tsotlhe tse e leng goreng di a go ama jalo o le mokeresete mo kerekeng e katoliki o le moreetsi le morati le morotloetsi wa seromoma se sa Radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith. Motho wetso go ntleng le go dia sebaka jalo ke amogele jalo moeng wa me ke amogele jalo moeng wa me mo seromamoeng se e le la ntlha hela jalo a tla jalo ka kwano e le moyeng a sa nketela hela dumedisa jalo e le la ntlha jalo a tla jalo e le moyeng o faphegileng jalo e leng goreng o tla go wena go tla gore re tle go a tlhatlha kgangnyana nngwe ke tla be re bua jalo ka setlhogo sa women in leadership na re jalo ngwaga o no feta jalo ka nna le tšhono ya go rabe ke le mo nngweng ya ditiro tse ne di iragala jalo mo kerekeng e katoliki ka ko St Benedict Catholic Church ka ko G West ka kwa ke ne ke laleditswe bokopano bongwe jwa bomme jalo ba ne ba bua ka Proverbs 31 women yaanong ke mo bona mo tsatsing la gompieno jaana re re le rona dikgang tse tsa bomme tse a ko re leke goreng re bue ka tsone. Ga o ka gakologelwa jalo ngwaga wa 2023 ga o simologa jalo the Catholic Church ka morena papa jalo launched synodality jalo e lone thulaganyo ya gore kereke e tshwanetse e nne fatshe e bue jalo ka dilo tse e leng gore di a go ama jalo le mokeresete mo kerekeng e katoliki jalo e le dilo tse e leng gore di a go ama tse e leng goreng di ka tswa di godisa kana di ka go senyetsa tumelo e ntseng jalo ke mo bonang mo gompieno jaanong re kgona gore be re le mo seemong se e leng gore ka sone yana re tla bo re bua jalo ka setlhogo se sa women in leadership mme ke kopa o ipolelele mo Motswana ko gae gore o mang.
Dumelang bareetsi ba Radio Ecclesia. Good morning, everyone, from all the ends of the world where you're listening from. My name is Michelle Dimakatsopulo ke ke makatoliki la motona ke solohela re makatoliki ba ka tswa ba nkitse me mo letsatsing la gompieno ke ha not just as a Catholic, but a woman in leadership, a woman who's experienced a lot of challenges and triumphs in the area of leadership across different sectors of the economy. Ki kile ka ne ke le mmereki yaanong ke mohiri ke tsore ga ke gate ke mohiri or I am self-employed. I'm not sure how that is expressed. I'm a chief executive officer in a consulting company, Agility Consulting. Part of it, apart from trying to help organizations grow through transformative strategies, digital transformation, and revenue data growth, re thusa le batho, not just women, but everyone to realize their full potential. We help different people to transform their lives, to reach their full potential. I'm excited to be here today, and I cannot wait, Ronnie. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I cannot wait to discuss this very touchy issue.
Yes, e le jalo Michelle Dima polokelo jalo a go ipolelela jalo ke motho ke mo ratela thata o lebetse go ipolela gore o tswa kae go gae.
Ke motlhaping ko South Africa mme le gale ke Motswana ko lapeng ke ko molepolle mme ke motlhaping wa go tlhapa ka lebese be ke iphorola ka kgatse le metsi a ntse a le teng ke ngwana ga mahuma pelo
ukwa la mo ikutlwela bagaetso ke yone la ene hele ne ke e batla e ka itse gore ga ka ke a tlhoka go heta ka yone ke mo tlhaping a tlhapa a tlhapa ka lebese mashu a le teng a supa jalo gore ke mme e le motho o montle la thata mo re tsotse ne ke go boleletse jalo gore mo tsatsing la gompieno tla be re bua jalo ka women in leadership e le gone gore re go tsamaele jalo ke dumela thata hela jalo gore ke topic hela e leng gore le wena mo tsatsi la gompieno o tla bo itumela jalo gongwe mme Dima ga re bua jalo ka setlhogo se re women in leadership go motho ka batla go itse gore gone mme re bua ka gaeng.
You would know that, or you'd appreciate that over many years we have seen men they are in decision-making positions, they are in critical position, not just in, I'm not even speaking about church, but I'm speaking about the different sectors of the economy, and not just more but in multiple countries. In different countries, it's been known that borre ke bone ba ba ka etellang pele mme ebile re sa bone bomme ba le bantsi ba eteletse pele, but over the past few years we have been seeing a change in this state. Re bona yaanong bomme ba simolola go tsena mo di-positioneng tsa leadership. Let's take for example Botswana, and the government of Botswana has made great attraction and great progress in this area. We see a lot of women in positions tsa leadership tse leng gore ga di se gore ba bone ba mo go tsone. For example, let's take Honorable Peggy Serame, who is the Minister of Finance. Ra itse gore re godile mo Botswana ga re se gore bone mme a le mo a eteletse pele Ministry of Finance, but our Honorable President Masisi has put Mme Peggy Serame ili Minister of Finance. Let's go to the justice. We also see the court president, the High Court President, or the Judge President rather, Metau, ke ene Judge President, and we've seen all these years mo Botswana e le gore the Judge President ke re Ian Kebi kana ke re, and it is quite a different a different thing now that a lot of women are in leadership. And also when you go to the corporate, ABSA, they are leading and they are heading ABSA Botswana to the recently appointed Melulu Rasebotsa, who's taken the helmet Botswana. And we don't know this. We have not seen this. And if we now go internationally, we've seen a lot of women presidents. We have seen, for example, a rising star who comes also from our church, Meshilatlu. It's not a rising star, and it's a woman that I look up to and say that if women are to take up leadership positions, they should be like Meshilatlu. Meshilatlu Kimo Anna. And she's currently working abroad. And not only is she a leader in health, we've also seen her appointed last year in one of the positions in the Vatican. This shows that women are making great strides in positions of decision, in positions of leadership, in positions that matter, in critical positions, and not only in one industry but across different sectors of the economy. And this is what we are going to be talking about. What challenges do they experience? And it's a lot of challenges, and I'm a living example here, and I'll also share some of the example from my end as well.
o ntirela jalo tiro motlhofo jalo ka gore potso ene e tla be e latela moreetsi sekone ya goreng what are the challenges e le jalo mme dimakatso polokelo jalo re bua jalo ka women in leadership o sa tswa go tlhalosa jalo giving us some insights into the current state of women in leadership roles globally nationally and otherwise e le jalo go ntsha yone the progress that has been made in recent years re bua jalo ka women women in leadership ka tseleng jalo re a tlhatlha tse e leng gore nna le wena ke dumela goreng o tla bo di ratile hela jalo ka tseleng jalo e le dithuto tse e leng goreng nna le wena tla be re di harologanye se roma ke sa gago sa Radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith, your Catholic #1 online radio station. Re ga sa jalo ka tlhamalo mo toropokgolo ga borone jalo mme di makatso Michelle polokelo jalo e le ene a le mo ntlong kgaso jalo ke yone ke na le yone potso ke gore what are some of the challenges that women face in reaching leadership positions, and what are these, how can these challenges that be addressed?
Thank you very much, Rory. I actually wish this was an interactive radio show where we could even get our listeners to comment, because
Yes.
I would have a number of questions that I would want to ask so that we see that these challenges are real. These challenges are not manufactured. I know that oftentimes when I speak to my male counterparts and I speak about these things, they just believe, no, you are too emotional. Because we want our place in the society. We don't want to be seen as women in leadership or as women leadership positions. We want to be seen as leaders. There is no need to put a tag Yabasadi, because now the society has a norm that when it puts tag Yabasadi, it comes with her being emotional, being this, and it's not desirable. Yeah, no. Some of the challenges. Maybe I can start that with a question. How many times have you had, no, she's just being a woman? How many times have you had in this society, and these utterances don't just come. The society has nurtured these utterances. When you express yourself, especially when you express yourself cogently as a woman, she's being emotional. When you fight to say this is right, not even about yourself, but when you fight for something to say it is right, you are being emotional. And most women who are competitive, who want to be competitive, but they're aggressive. And Roni, let me also just use myself an example here. When I was growing up, I grew up with this insatiable desire to achieve, to compete, and even to approve myself, to say, no, I've actually made it. And I've always wanted to outdo myself in everything that I do. And instead of this being seen as she wants to outdo herself, she wants to she wants to do better, she wants to achieve. Rather, I've been labeled in the society as, she's very aggressive. Kana o bogale, she's
Kana o rata dilo.
kana o rata dilo. And how often have you heard gote rre kana motho wa rre o rata dilo? You hardly ever hear that.
Yeah.
But because instead of being seen in the society as a strong-willed woman, you are labeled gore o rata dilo, o aggressive. And I know that this is not only my experience. I know that a lot of strong-willed women who are trying to achieve, they're labeled as that. And I'll give you another example. And this happens in the society. I'm actually shocked that this happens to today's leaders in not just in Botswana but across the world. I sat in a forum, or I sit in a forum, and in that forum I'm a leader in that forum. So in December, when I was in Europe, we had a meeting, and I was the only woman in that forum. The only woman who was there was the woman who was recording. And we were discussing a very, very touchy issue, a very sensitive issue. But not because I'm a woman, but because I strongly believed in what I was presenting. And I had except a couple of men who agreed with my viewpoint. In fact, when we went into this meeting, it would seem that it was already agreed which route we are going to take. And then when we sat in the meeting, I called them to order and said, we cannot do that. We cannot go through that. You cannot impose a decision. We have to sit here and debate this decision and see what is the best possible route to take. And I was very strong about it because other people were reserved and didn't want to speak about it. But instead of the issue being addressed for its merit or its merits, they started labeling me, oh no, you are so emotional. Why are you so emotional about this issue? No, I am not emotional about this issue. I'm bringing strong points to say, no, let's not do this things that way. Rather, let's do this. And Ronnie, this, and to the listeners, if this was an interactive session, listeners would call you and say to you that these are the things that they experience. I mentor a lot of women, young and old, who are in leadership positions and those who aspire to be in leadership. One of the things that they've also brought about, and this is very concerning now, and I think this is an issue that at some point we need to now sit, discuss it, not just on this radio, but as a society. It's how someone was asking me, where you previously worked, how did you rise above the ranks so quickly? And I said, because I did what I have to do. I looked for a mentor. I always was willing to learn, and I always tried to do my best. And a lot of these women would tell me, you see where I am. You are asked, let's sleep together and I'll give you something, or I'll promote you. And it's unfortunate because these things are not spoken about. These are pushed under the tables in some areas because we see some men who are in leadership positions wanting to turn women into sexual objects for them to attain anything. And women, we are putting in them, or inserting in their minds and the societal minds that basadi ga se batho ba sepe ba ile gore they are not smart, they are not intelligent. We diffuse that intelligent and say that for them to achieve anything, and this is what a lot of, especially the young ones that I meant to say, how do you manage? How did you manage? How do you manage to do 1, 2, 3? Do you do? And I want to speak out. I want to speak to the women who are listening and to the girls that are listening that you should never allow yourself to be subjected to become a sexual object so that you attain any position or so that you grow above or you grow along the ranks. That is wrong. You should attain anything and have anything that you want because you have that intellect, because you have the desire to achieve, because you know what you want and you are competing and you want to be the best. And I really hope that even I want to speak to men to say, let us not look at women who are in positions of leadership as sexual objects. Basadi, they win and they do what they're doing, not because ba robetse le mongwe,
Mm.
but because they are of good and strong intellect.
Mhm.
Yes. And I now want to get to go now to our Setswana culture.
Mm.
And by all means, ke rata Setswana. Me, I don't know gore kana ke Setswana le gale kana ke gore ka ha re ntseng ka teng. When go na le when go na le bomme ba le ho le borre ba le ho, go tle be go tone dikgang tsa tsa basadi.
Mm.
But ha o re o lebelela dikgang tse di buiwang ke dikgang tse e leng gore one gongwe di bua ka they are discussing your child, or they are discussing a matter that which you are even more
Yeah, supposed to be-
experienced in more than them. Maybe go te dikgang tse ga se tsa
That's the
basadi.
basadi. Mm.
We cannot, not in this age. I am not suggesting, and I hope the listeners would understand this, I am not suggesting that re tswe mo Setswaneng.
Mm.
I am suggesting that the societal norms that demean women should be gotten rid of. Ka gore ga gona kgang e seng e ka sekeng mme, and okay, unless when it comes to other issues I don't know, but I know that women are capable and have full intellect to discuss any issue, and they should be allowed. Ga gona mo go teng ga se ga basadi. And these happen in our families.
Mm.
Mo di familing tsa rona roni ka moso ha go ntse ha tsheletlebe le re nya ngwana o le a nne ha le ka gore ke mosadi. But you do not realize that they have the intellect. And I said to a friend of mine, I think it was last year, they had an issue ko Habone, a very sensitive issue, and she came to me for advice. Gore, how there's going to be a family meeting? How can I talk about this issue? And what I know is because, and she's a leader in one of the corporates in this country, and she said, "Mikana ke a itse gore I have something to say, and I have something that I know can help resolve that issue." But said, "Kana mme ko lapeng ha ke bua, ba nthaba re, especially the men, bo malome, they would say, you are not our boss here. O boss o ko mo lapeng o mosadi." And I was shocked because I didn't think that people can actually be so expressive about gender bias like that. And Ronnie, these are the things that we experience. I've experienced this before where someone was telling me, you cannot call me out because, yes, you are my boss, but mosadi ga mpise. And thankfully, it's not in this country.
Yeah.
But and you realize that people really are missing out on what women can do, how women can turn around the world, how women can transform organizations, how women can even transform the society, because we have this gender bias to say Kim Mosadi, she cannot do this and that. And maybe just the last thing, and I when I speak to my male counterparts, they say we should, for example, bomme are capable of leading organizations or being in leadership positions, influential positions, and still nurture bana. So, and when I say this to my male friends, it's people they always come out to me and say, no, but you have to choose. It's either you choose to be a leader or you choose to be umusadi, unne mo lapeng. And the example that or what they usually say is "Ntlha wena ga ona ngwana," because you focused on growing yourself in the corporate or as a leader. We get but the issues of not having a child are not here or there, neither here nor there, but and the issues of different discussion. What I'm trying to get at, Rooney and the listeners, is that we should stop looking at women and saying "Bone ke ba bana hela." There's absolutely nothing wrong with women, yes, bearing kids. But there's also absolutely nothing wrong with a woman saying, you know what, I'm going to look for a helper. Now I am going to advance my career. There is absolutely, or I'm going to advance in my career and I'm still going to take care of my kids. And I see a lot of women do that and they are succeeding. And I wish that men could hear this. Yes, women ba nna le bana, ba nurture bana, they nurture the family, yes. But it does not mean that they are not intelligent. It does not mean that they cannot lead. and it does not even make them weak and emotional. We should stop labeling women as weak and emotional. I mean, if you sit in boardrooms, in meetings in boardrooms, and then I've had my fair share of this. I've had my fair share where because you are a woman, yes, people do look at you, and every time you speak, even if you speak sense, it has some subtle insults on the side. Kana ba bone o tla readiwa kana ke mosadi, so let's listen to her. No, don't listen to me because I'm a woman. Listen to me because I'm making sense to you. If I'm not, take me up and say, this is not right, rather this is the way. But don't listen to me because, hey, ke mosadi, no, let's snoop around her feelings. No, it's not about my feelings. It's about the points that I'm making. If you do not agree with me, say that, and do not attach subtle insults on the side. And I always, in the last one, Ronin, I always hear people making fun out of other people on Facebook. We should stop doing that. Bomme are not getting where they are because ke basadi. They are getting where they are because they are smart. They are getting where they are because they are intelligent. They are getting where they are because they are the better ones in the room.
Okay, moretsetso ele jalo Dimakatso Michelle polokelo jalo re tshwere jalo topic e leng gore it's one of the sensitive e leng gore is sensitive mme bile gape e le botlhokwa gore re bue jalo ka yone moretsetso e le jalo women in leadership. Seromo mo ke sa gago sa radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith. Mo tsatsi la gompieno jalo ke na le jalo moeng jalo ele mme Dimakatso Michelle polokelo jalo ele mo katoliki jalo mo Christ the King Cathedral jalo mme ebile a na go itlhalosetsa ga re simolola jalo thulaganyo ya rona gore a re ga se mo katoliki fela ebile jalo e le leader e le mme e leng gore ke dumela jalo goreng nna ke le nosi ke le rone jalo I look so much up to her mme jalo kopo ya rona ke gone goreng ga le gore o na le potso jalo you may o ka latlhela jalo potso ya gago in the comment section jalo e leng gore o batla go e lebisa jalo mme Dimakatso polokelo jalo moretsetso ke tlolele ka go wena jalo Basedi Sraming dumela motswana se dumela jalo moretsetso a re ke lebeletse jalo tsala ya I'm watching my friend Marina Sobakeng jalo I'm watching from Ledumadumane re go dumedisa jalo ka tselentseng jalo be re go amogela mo seromameng sa gago sa radio Ecclesia your country number 1 online radio station re tsena jalo ka re go kamogelo jalo mo lefe a re ke lebeletse ke na le lona jaanong Aisha Saidu are watching from SSK jalo mo Khotle Modie Caroline e le morati le morotloetsi wa seromo moase ga nako le nako re tsena jalo mo phefong jalo ke bangwe ba ntla go tlola go ba bontlha bongwe le karolo ya seromo moase are very true my lovely sister. God continue to bless you more and give you more strength and wisdom. Kenira Kano jalo are as much as we know the Catholic Church is a church of order and that most people in leadership are our priests, but does it give room for women leadership and decision making in the church? Ele potso jalo Kenya e boditse jalo ke tsa kere ke eno utile ka tselentseng jalo re tla re ya go yone ke go lebogela go bo o nna o ntso o le bontlha bongwe le karolo ya seromo mase wena Kedi Makenzo ka go jiwa wa jalo karabo tsa one a re wow Bibi Mahuma Pelo are powerful. Let women be respected in the society. We can change the world. Yes, ele basedi jalo ala tlhala dipelo jalo Henry Nyatsane ele bangwe ba ke ba ratang thata re Nyatsane jalo ele bangwe ba diragatsi jalo ba rona mo kerekeng e katoliki bile a dira ka bontlegela thata jalo ra go le bogise bile ra go lemoga jalo Donny Don ka ko 29 ko ponjalo a re we see you Dima banna ke o rapetse Mateki ne re mmitse jalo ka nako tsa rona ke tsala me tona jalo are she's one person I've been looking up to from my younger age up to now. Good going sister. Good going sister. Ile jalo morati le morotloetsi wa seromo moase sa radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire of faith. Jalo nametso Masala are good going Michelle Dimapolokelo. Wise words Monedi. Monedi Kole Mamoneiwa. Dumela Maratiwa Sormo Masare do Ecclesia. Dimakaso gona le ntlha engwe eno e ntshitse jalo ya gore ya ha re ntse re tlhalosa jalo re bua jalo ka di-challenge tse leng goreng di-challenge tse leng gore bomme they continue to face both in the society and in leadership positions. Mme ne ke batla go botsa potso ke edima goreng what do you have to say about bomme ba e leng goreng nako le nako if that too you spoke about listening not because you are a woman, because listening because you have something, a substance to say and deliver. What do you have to say about these women? By long, they always pull a gender card where they're supposed to be delivering what so they believe in. Mo ngwageng o no hitile jalo mo dingweng tsa dipuisanyo tsa dipalamente jalo ga le gore o motho o leng gore wa tlo reetse jalo dipuisanyo tsa palamente ne go nna le ga ke batla go bua ka leina but I just want to cite an example so that you are par with what I'm talking about. Ne go nna le mme ona a bua ke ka tumelo ya me a na hilwe tshono ya gore o ka itlhalosa a expressa ka ha tshwanetseng ka teng go tsisa dintlha tsa gagwe tse e leng gore na tsile ka tsone ha botswa dipotso e re apalwa ba re o mpotsa jalo ka gore ke mosadi. What do you have to say about this bomme ba e leng gore ba teng mo society ya rona ba e leng gore when they're given chance they'll use this issue of gender to that advantage to ke tsa ke re wa nkutlwa gore ke le ka gore ndima ke dio tse e leng gore go a tshwenya and often than not I would tell you that there are men who are in trouble because there was a lady who had said that I'm a lady. What do you have to say about women who use this card of gender, but say express in what they believe in instead what they believe in?
Thank you very much, Ronnie, and thank you very much to the listeners. And I see there's a lot of interaction on the page. I think first of all, we need to understand where this is coming from, and I'm in no way protecting this. Yes. However, women have been pushed to the edge. They have been pushed to the edge because, as I said earlier, when some men, when you speak, they don't listen to the intellect, they don't listen to the substance of your argument or what you are saying. They say, so sometimes women who pull out the gender card is because they have been pushed to the edge. They have been pushed to the limit because I've listened to a lot of debates on Facebook and on social media and across. People address women because they are women, and they will even say it, and hence some people will come out, defend themselves and pull out the gender card and say, you want to disrespect me or you want to say this because I'm a woman. And we cannot see that, we cannot look at that and say that they pull out the gender card. It's because they have been pushed. They have been pushed to the edge, and they believe that they should state this because the only thing that they think about is because and hence they are pushed to use that gender card. Mehela, let me speak out to fellow women out there, especially young girls or those that aspire to be in leadership or those that are in leadership and are surrounded by men who have this gender bias and believe that they can be nothing but just women. You do not need to pull the gender card when you speak. Make sure that when you speak substance. Make sure that your content is coherent, such that if or the males that are around you had wanted to label you or had wanted to use that gender bias against you, they are left without an option but to acknowledge that you are actually smarter or that you are the smartest one in the room. But I'm not saying that you always have to be the smartest one in the room, but I'm encouraging women that don't always feel the need to do that, because it's your intellect that should speak for you, not because you are a woman. Mihela, we need to understand women have been pushed to the edge so far so long, such that they know that if they are going to protect themselves, they need to pull out the gender card.
Ke go leboga jalo ka tselentseng jalo moreetsi wetso ke go lebogela jalo go bo re tshwere jalo thulaganyo ya tuloganyo yalo ya women in leadership ka tselentseng jalo moretsetso re tshwere kgang e leng gore ke dumela thata ga ile goreng o ithuta go le kalo jalo Kenny o ne a bua jalo a botsa ka as I was saying Dima that either re bontse re bua ka women in leadership now mme ebile re bua ka women in leadership re bua in general now go botlhokwa thata gore ga ke ra bua ka women in leadership go sena gore re ka bua ka women in leadership re le mo kerekeng. What's your take on that?
Okay. I think I'm going to, as I answer that, I'm going to, as I answer your question, I'm going to answer it looking at Kenira Khono's question so that I answer that question. I think we need to separate things. We need to separate issues. One, priests are priests, they are shepherds in the church. And because they're shepherds in the church, we know that they are acting in persona Christi, or in the person of Christ in this case. And they have an innate responsibility in decision making as shepherds of the church. Let's separate that. And then there are lay people. The Catholic Church has structures in place that allow lay people, both men and women, to be part of those structures, to be part of the decision making in the church. So I want to leadership in the church. Let us not compare lay people to priests, because priests are shepherds of the church. They are shepherds of the people, and as such, the decision making or the leadership in this case is separate from that of lay people. And those that are listening, lay people, by they are not Catholics, lay people who are not part of the clergy. The Catholic Church has structures. Santlahela, hona le small Christian communities which are makotlana, and hona le dikopano, and ra itse dikopano mo kerekeng ke tsa bomme. It's the pastoral council, the pastoral council, and there is always, we are always encouraged, whether umme, whether or, and I'm happy because when it comes to issues of lay people, the Catholic Church does not label the gender. We are encouraged. The SSC in Zarona, Kenira Khanu, I know that you are a chorister in St. Bernadette's, and I think you are the PRO in St. Bernadette's, and I've seen you do great things. And not just you, a lot of women around. Let's take Nankile, for example, Memo Shabo, Corpus Christi. She's doing great. She's been at the helm of that choir for as long as I can remember. And it's such examples, Kenny, like yourself, like Memo Shabo, what they are doing in St. Mary's. And we see a lot of them also, they are the secretaries of the parish council, or they're in parish councils. They are and they are leaders in those dikopan. So I do not think that there is a lack in the church of making sure that women are part of the decision making. I think all I can do is to encourage women in the Catholic Church that you have everything that it takes, and the church does not label the gender. Holy lay person, if you know that you can do it, raise up your hand and do it. And I've seen, and I'll speak about Moparishinyaron. I've seen that we have priests who are understanding. If you go to a priest and suggest, I think maybe that this is what should be done. If it should go to the parish council, it will be taken to the parish council. Or if it should if it's something that can be done, it will be done. So, Kenny, it's important that if you know that you can do something, stand up and speak. Stand up and suggest, raise your hand and say that I can do this. So there is absolutely no gender label in terms of decision making in the church.
Ganyela ke go itshupa morezi re latlhegetswe jalo ke ditshwantsho mme re tla bo re boela go go yena mo nakong e sa fediseng pelo ga ile gore wena o a re utlwa nna le wena ra utlwana jalo ga re na laele bothata mo nakong e sa fediseng pelo jalo tla be re boela jalo o kgona gore nna le wena re kgone gore re lebagane ka tselentseng jalo ga go le moreetsi le gone o tsenang o reditse radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith, your number one online radio station. Re ga se jalo ka tlhamollo mo toropokgolo ga boreng jalo ina ile rona le mipoledi jalo re ga sa jalo re le mo main mo lo jalo mo gaborone mo tsatsing la gompieno ke na le jalo di makatso. Michelle polokelo jalo seromoma ke sa gago sa radio listen the Catholic morning show e tla be re go tsisetsa jalo tse e leng goreng di a go nonotsha jalo mo tumelong le mo botshelong ba gago ka go tsisetsa bagaka ba ba tshwanang jalo le mme polokelo ka tselentseng jalo moretsetso wa letlelesega jalo ka tselentseng jalo gore ka re o ntse o ya jalo wa re latlhelela jalo potsonyana in the comment section jalo re tla nna le one monyetla wa gore re arabe potso tsa gago jalo ke hana ra ba jalo potso e nne Kenny jalo a ipotsa jalo Kenny ra kgano jalo le nna ke mo itse thata hela jalo dima gore ke mme mongwe hela wa ba ileng gore ba tlhaga ka tselentseng jalo hela mo kerekeng jalo ha o bona ke ne ke bua jalo ka Proverbs stage 1 ke ka gone gore G-West jalo ka bone boeteledipele jalo ba ga Kenny ra kgano jalo ba ne ba nna hatshe jalo ngwaga ga o tloga o hela jalo ba bua jalo ka dilo tse re buang ka tsone tse re bua jalo ka Proverbs 31 Proverbs 31 women many women do noble things but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is supposed to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. She brings food. She brings him good. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager. Ele jalo Proverbs ine go nna bontlha bongwe ba tiro ye moretsetso go ne go ang khwatla thata gore ke lebelle jalo gore go te Proverbs 31 women re bua ka gaeng jalo ile one ye supang jalo gore mme has to be of a noble character jalo a eme a itshupe ke mo utlwang mme jalo di makaso jalo a bua gore mo kerekeng yes mo kerekeng re lebeletse yone potso nne Kenny a e bua mo kerekeng gore mme kereke yone e tshameka karolo efe mo go godiseng jalo bomme mo bodireding ka tselentseng jalo e le dingwe tsa e leng goreng the one of the 4 or 5 core values tsa synodality jalo e leng gore na lontshwa jalo ke morena papa e le gone goreng a ka utlwa go bolela gore kereke does not in any other way label women ka tseleng e ntseng jalo go borara ba rona le kereke e nna ile ka bojotlhe goreng ba leng goreng ke bomme go ba na le bone bodiredi mo kerekeng e le gone goreng the synodality e ne e bua jalo ka the risks one of the reason why kereke e ne re a re boeleng ko makgatlana thapong jalo re nne hatshe re bue ka dilo tse ne re lebeletse jalo go ne go lebeletswe jalo dilo dingwe and go lebeletswe jalo gore there are a certain group of people ba e leng gore they risk being thrown in the periphery in terms of decision making in the church or in terms of being active in the church and women and children being one of those still they risk being thrown in the periphery in terms of decision making in the church. Therefore the church e le jalo ka moya o boitshepo a be re a re boeleng go makgatlanang thapong re nne hatshe re lebelle dilo tse gore re nne kereke e lengwe fela kereke e theri moretsuetso e le gone gore re nne kereke e lengwe fela kereke e leng gore e na le thata ya go rerisa e boetsa ditshwetso tse e leng gore di ama botlhe seroma ke sa gago sa radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith, your Catholic number 1 online radio station re ga sa jalo ka tlhamallo mo toropo kgolo ga burone jalo ke kgabolele ka go moretsi ka kwa Mafokate are powerful tsebo bubi wise words Michelle di mapolokelo ma huma pelo a ba re latlhella pelonyana jalo Mavis Kok abare powerful words indeed if you know you can do something in church stand up and help ke go gore re ntse re rotloetsa gore ga ona le bokgoni santse re tlhoka bokgoni jalo na mo kerekeng bomma ga ona le bokgoni o seka wa tshaba o tsholetse le bo go itshupe borara ba rona the heaven ear to listen to each and everyone o le gore o tla ka go aga mo kerekeng re tla ka go aga e se re tla ka go thua kaka Seroma ke sa gago sa radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith. Aisha Saidu are mafoko a matlhong re a bua mo nakong e sa fediseng pelo jalo Aisha mahoko a matlhong ga o a ke yana go dira yone Patrick Phuduhudu a re wise words Dima Veronica Maroping jalo a re powerful ba re powerful Dima BK bokamoso motswedi e ka re o tla nna bangwe ba e leng gore ba tla nna o tla tswa morati le morotloetsi wa ntlha ke bona jalo a tlhagelela thata yala mosimane wa ora motswedi o a re well articulated Michelle Dima Polokelo ba supa ha ba itumetse jalo ka tselentseng jalo ba rati le ba rotloetsi ba seromamase re bua jalo hela ka women in leadership ka tselentseng jalo re bua hela jalo ka women in leadership yaanong re ntse re tswela moretsoetso gongwe ke tswelele jalo ke botse Dima ke re ke botse ha mme Dimakatso ke re how can organization promote diversity inclusion to ensure that women have equal opportunities for leadership role?
Thank you very much, Ronnie, and to the listeners again. It's a simple. I think it's to repeat the things that we've already spoken about. One, because a lot of women leaders, or especially the young ones in leadership, are still worried because of the historical norms and the societal norms that they will always be seen as women or labeled as women, whether they're emotional when they are assertive and competitive. They will say that they are aggressive. So I think it's important that organizations, including the church, organizations should provide guidance, should provide training, and more importantly, they should provide mentorship for these women, especially the ones that are growing in leadership. They should provide mentorship, and also just to those women, it's don't wait for your organization to maybe find you a mentor or start a mentorship program. I know that a lot of organizations don't have mentorship programs. And usually when women are thrown into leadership, you find that you have to find your feet. You are thrown into the deep end, and only you can teach yourself how to swim. I was lucky because I had a mentor, Frederick Melesi. He mentored me from when I was just coming out of school and until to where I am. And I and this is why I'm saying to women out there to say you need a mentor in your life because leadership is very difficult. It's not just the gender bias. There's organizational politics. There's a lot. So you need someone who is experienced in leadership to hold your hand and to help you traverse these waters. So please reach out to me. I know a lot of mentors around. It doesn't even have to be women. I know a lot of mentors to the young women or to other women in leadership that feel like they need someone to hold their hand and help them traverse these spheres. Please reach out to me either on Facebook or you can reach out to Radio Ecclesia and indicate your interest. And just talking, Ronnie, what I've noticed that is that whenever you experience problems, speaking to people around you, people who will always cheer for you, people who always support you, be it family, be it friends, be it a church here, it's important that you speak, you express your challenges. A lot of I was sitting with I have a coach. I was speaking to the last time I spoke to my coach was last year, I think last year, end of November. And this reminds me that I must reach out to her because it's the beginning of the year, festive hidil. But as I was chatting to my coach because she
Coach in this regard coach
okay. Coach, it's someone who helps you to become a better person, not just in leadership, but across all walks of life. Someone who's there to, and you speak to them about your challenges, about your successes, and they will help you get your feet to the next step.
Le utlwile bagaetsho le utlwile ba ratile ba rotloetse ba Radio Ecclesia ne re ntse re ithute jalo mo ka la bobedi jalo ne re bua ka mentorship gompieno jalo Michelle o re bolela jalo gore go na le coach yaanong mokatisi ke o bomma a re itsose mokatisi ke o teng tsa le bolela jalo gore if in need she's available o ka goroga ko leng teng jaanong ke gatelela ka lebaka la gone gore le itse ke dilo tse leng gore ga re a di itlwetsa gore re nne le tsone. We are talking about just on Tuesday, we are talking about mentorship. And gompieno anong le hoko le lesha ke coach. Coach ke wa bua re bokatisi emma le ka tswella.
Yes, I was saying that I was speaking to my coach the last time I spoke to her in November. And as I was chatting to her about, because I had just left my formal employment, I just started my consultancy. And I said to her that my biggest fear is that, yes, I've started my consultancy. I know what I'm doing, and I'm a subject matter expert in innovation, in transformation, in digital transformation, in micro lending or in microfinance. And I said, my biggest fear right now is, will the people be receptive? Will the people in leadership position or in decision-making positions be receptive? And in this case, and she said, you need to be explicit. And I said, will men in this case who are in leadership positions, who are supposed to make decisions and get me to support them and be a consultant, will they be receptive? And she said, why do you think they will not be receptive? Because you are a subject matter expert. I said, I have no doubt that I'm a subject matter expert, but my biggest challenge is they will look at me and say, she's a woman. Will she manage? They will ask me, is there a man in your, an accomplished man in your consultancy? And I said to her, this is what scares me the most. However, she spoke to me the same thing that I'm preaching today, that it does not matter. Go there, present your case, and show them that you know what you are doing, and it has absolutely nothing to do with your gender. And thanks to her, I have been able to overcome my fears in terms of that, and I've been able to get 1, 2, 3 things that I can do, and men have made those decisions. And this is an encouragement to women out there, women in leadership, or women who desire to be in leadership, young women who desire to be in leadership, that yes, the world is unkind to women, but not the whole world is unkind to women. Go there, present your case, show your intellect, show that you are a subject matter expert, or show your desire to learn, and the world will be receptive, especially mo Botswana malatsing. Things are changing, and our government is leading the way, the church is leading the way, so we should not have a problem. And once again, reach out, find someone to guide you.
Moretsetso ele jalo Michelle Dimapolokelo jalo re bua jalo ka women in leadership. Maybe la ga ke le ba tshupana kwa me entire nna le wena sa le rentse fa re bua jalo mme tla tloga re tla jalo ko motsubong ele motsubo wa thulaganyo ya rona jalo o tla re tshwarela ka ke go boleletse gore ra ne re tsamaya jalo tshipiditonto lo bona di go latlhegetse ditshwantsho jalo mme nna le wena re ntse re mmogo jalo ke dumela jalo gore re ntse re mmogo jalo mo tsatsi la gompieno ha le gone o tsenang jalo o itse hela gore mme re go timile mme ha se gore re go timile re tla boa re kopana gape mo nakong e tlang gape e leng gore tla be re ntse go tshwaretse tse e leng gore di monate ka tseleng tseng jalo gakologela gore seromamo ke sa gago sa Radio Ecclesia. The show is the Catholic Morning Show jalo e leng go tla be re go tsisetsa e tlang mo go wena ka nako ya 8:30 go tsena ka 9:30 jalo. Seromamo ke sa gago sa Radio Ecclesia, the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith. Ele yalo yo Catholic #1 online radio station re tla jalo mo go wena ka tsebe ya Batswana Catholics, Catholic Diocese of Gaborone Radio Ecclesia BW. Ibile ke kopa jalo ke leboga jalo kana aka ke buile re tsamaya tshipiditonto jalo o tsene mo tsebeng ya Radio Ecclesia BW jalo o ntlogelle like nyana hela ile ngwe hela jalo mo la bobeding jalo ne ke goroga jalo go 1000 followers jalo aka ke bua re tsamaya tshipiditonto ke mo itumella hela jalo 1000 teo ka gore we are trying to establish ourselves and build ourselves as a brand, as a radio station in the Catholic Church, and therefore your support really counts very very much gore re kgone gore re tswe ha re leng teng re gole mme go gola ga me go gola ga me ke go gola ga lona ka tsela e ntseng jalo. Ke na le jalo Michelle Dimapolokelo re bua jalo ka women in leadership. Gongwe Dima ntlha e nngwe e ne o bua ka yone, ne o bua jalo ka gore ne re bua hela jalo ka dilo tse e leng goreng di ka tokahatsa leadership mo di-organizationeng tse di harologaneng mo mahelong a harologaneng ka tseleng tse jalo. Gongwe ke botse potsonyana ya bohelo, ke na le dipotsonyana di le pedi. Ya bohelo ela gona I just want to know gore, are there some key legislative or policy changes that could further support gender equality and women advancement in leadership positions? E lone potso e leng gore ne ke batla go e botsa, ka gore re tsamaela go gore re tswale. Ha o sena wa araba potso eo, then tlabe ke go letlelela gore o bue le a girl child ko gae kwa, o bue le ene, o mo rotloetse, o montshe ha leng teng jalo, o bontsha ha leng teng ka tseleng tseng jalo. Nna ke a itse when you started school, we talked much nako a teng, o mpolelela gore gona na ke itseela gore o ira doctorate, ha ke tse gore ya eng e tle re hete ka yone eo, gore o tla bontha re ka go letsa gore rone sekolo ha se monate gotlhelele. Re bua ka dilo tse dintseng jalo le gone go rotloetsa morati le morotloetsi wa seromomase.
Thank you very much, Ron. Yes, actually, the current administration the current administration, Lahati, has made a lot of legislative changes or enhancements to make sure that women are prioritized. Though I wish that you had warned me, because I would have actually picked certain specific legislations, but I'm going to pick them and I will share with you, so that as you continue your show, you can specify them as a follow-up to this interview. You'd know that all women-led companies, for example, they get a priority when now bona ha go ntse bo di-tender yana or any di-job, especially ko government, or the women led companies, they get a 50% subsidy, and there was application, a lot of applications that license, like for example tsabu gambling, tsabu betting. It was very specific. The government was very clear and very specific that any company that applies must have 30% women leadership. 30% women as directors. And we see that gore government o rotloetsa bomme go own the business, o rotloetsa bomme in agriculture. So this and many other legislative changes di thusa gore bomme ba itse gore they are actually capable and they are supported to be in leadership positions. Just quickly look at what the government of Botswana is doing. And why I'm talking about the current administration is that it is taking a lead in not just penning legislations down or promulgating legislation, but it's actually taking a lead to say all the sectors of the industry must follow. In leadership, a lot of women are leading government departments, are leading ministries, and are leading different government units and parastatals. So we see that a lot. If you go around and ask a lot of small Christian communities, but the PPC, most of them because the church also supports women. Now we should step away from the back seat. And I want to speak to the Catholic Church choirs. I will not finish this program without doing that.
Yes,
I've been seeing this for many years. The conductor at Sabome, it was myself, it was men Corpus Christi
for the longest time.
And yes. Then we saw in the previous few years, we saw Bo Mabatu, and I understand Holy Spirit too also, or we saw that December when they did very well in Joburg,
yes.
That they were conducted by a woman. So I want to encourage the establishments in the church or the organizations in the church that give women a chance. Stand up and raise your hand. And what am I doing in school? Yes, school is very difficult, but I hope the listeners are not listening. That school is very difficult, and sometimes I want to quit. But like I said, I have my coach, I have my mentor, and they encourage me. Remelisi always tells me that, Dima, you cannot stop no matter how hard it gets. I'm doing a Doctor of Business Administration in Innovation. I am very big on innovation. I'm very big on digital transformation, and I want to make an impact, especially in our country, especially in the church, in our country, that we should move away from doing things manually, that we should digitally transform. Look at where the world is. Yesterday, I met one of the people that I really look up to. It's a gentleman who's doing great things in this country. Wow, he owns Abaricom, and he told me that there's a city in China that is fully automated, and he said, I wish that Botswana could be like this. Anyway, that's it's in terms of what I'm doing. Let's
Yes,
not get
yes.
carried away. And lastly, Ronnie urile unongopa gore ke bue le bana, a girl child there. Get it? It's possible to bana all the girl children out there. It's possible. What you've conceived in your mind, what you're thinking about, what you want to be, it's possible. And if you put your heart to it, you put your mind to it, and find someone to carry you, find someone, even if you don't find support at home, or even if your friends don't support you, find someone that you look up to hold your hand and do it. And know that it's not going to be easy. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be easy. It is not going to be easy, especially because you're a woman, you are a girl child who's trying to walk uncharted territories. It's not going to be easy. You are going to find a lot of people who will demean you, who will look down on you, will press you down and tell you that you cannot make it. But despite that, forge ahead, look ahead, always face your look towards the sunshine, because the rays will fall on your face and you'll be able to walk. And just lastly, and this is what carried me through again throughout the years, the power of prayer is everything. When all else fails, when talking to Ronnie fails, when talking to a mentor fails, when even encouraging yourself fails, kneel down and speak to God. We have a faithful God. We have a merciful God. And oftentimes we overlook that. We overlook the power of prayer. That no, I'm succeeding. I can only remember God when we are in trouble. But every woman, especially every woman, needs to kneel down. Mosadi ke lengwele, mosadi ke thapelo. And you'll see that when all else fails, God will be there for you, because He will never fail. Thank you.
Yes, ne re ra tswela jaanong go botlhokwa gore ga go na le potso re etse re hete ka yone, ka gore santse re na le metsotsonyana pele ga nna le wena re kgaogana ke o ile gape Kane Rakgano Dima a re, as women in a challenging world full of men who look down or doubt the ability of women in leadership, what motivates you to wake up in the morning and keep going? Are we supportive to each other as women? Very important question. Ninga ska ra tsamaya re sa rilana ka yone ke potso hela e leng goreng e tlhamaletse e monate.
Thank you very much, Kenny. I think I the first part of the question, I think I answered it earlier.
Yeah, you answered.
But I know that it's not easy. I think this is why Kenny is asking. Or as a woman in a challenging world full of men who look down and doubt the ability of women in leadership, what motivates you to wake up every morning and keep going?
Yeah.
I'm sure, Kenny, you are a witness to how I've lived, and I'm sure and you can attest to the same.
Yes.
Because yes, it's true that the world is full of men who will look down upon you, who will pull you down. But every morning, what makes me tick and what makes me get out of bed and go and face the world is my desire to achieve, my desire to change the world, my desire to transform the world against all odds. And I know that it's difficult. It's going to be difficult. People are going to label you. People are going to look down on you and start saying, who do you think you are? Or atadilo. And I've seen that a lot. I've experienced that a lot. But for me, it's always about, yes, I cannot be stopped by these challenges. They cannot wear me down. And I desire to achieve so that I can look back and say, I told you so. Okay, I don't normally say I told you so, but it's the success
that will speak for you.
Yeah, the success speaks for me, and this is what wakes me up. And because usually you will succeed, they will pull you down, and then you succeed. When you succeed, then they start coming up to you and being your friend or trying to get you to help them. So this is what motivates me every day. That also it's knowing that despite the challenges, there is a young woman who's looking up to me, who's saying, you know what, I want to be like her, or I want to do something similar to what she's doing and make it in the world. And I cannot crush at challenges because somebody else is looking at me, and it's my desire to see other people grow and other people achieve. And Kenny's last question is: are we supportive to each other as women? I think that's this is a topic that we should discuss separately another day, because I have a lot to say on it. And thank you, Kenny, for bringing it up. I think one of the biggest challenges, one of the downfall of women, is other women. It's I will not share examples, but Kenny, I let's leave it here.
We'll discuss it.
I will speak to Ronnie and we'll have a separate session on it where we can discuss it openly, so that we can see also at the end of it, not just to discuss the challenges, but to see how as women we can support each other.
I think Kenny should be part of it.
Yes.
I think Kenny should be part of it. I think as a young woman, with the way she works so hard, mo go nna hela ke bona ile gore re tshwantse re ise Kenny to the world.
Yes.
Ke bang ba ile gore ba gola sentle, ke me wa di hasele,
Yes.
ke me o boikobo, you know. Moretsi le moratiwa seromama sa botswana sa tla re sekile seromama sa Radio Ecclesia sa kereke katoliki mo gaboreng jalo mo sedikeng sa gaboreng jalo le khotla dingalo Dix are Iron Lady ya ne a tsenela a dumedisa jalo ba le boga jalo Dima Aisha Saidi wa le boga ma ke tse monyetla o ke go le boge gore a bo no dumetse gore na le khotla le ba fix ke a itse re keng gote Iron Lady na ra itse rona ba le gore been around you that ha gote Iron Lady go tswang ke tse monyetla ke go le boge gore e rile ha o mpotsa potso potso eno e botsa eno e mpotsa ka di guest tsa me go ra ke re o bua thata mebile go tla re o tle ka kwano a be re simola re bona gore gone mme re ka bua ka eng a be re hela re tla ka sone setlhogo se sa women in leadership yalo e be re mo ba mabaning jalo be ke go sendela ke re tsa o tsenye mo status mo re batho re wa radio a bo nkomanya on thare but then are you sending this now gona na rone ke sa ipakana ka ra o cancetse ke gore ke re ke a go leboga Dima ene le thulaganyo hele monate hela thata tla be ke ntse ke lebetse gore ke itse gore ha ke tla ntshwabisa tla re ha ke bitsa ha o le teng o tle ke go lebogele gore a bone o ile wa nna le monyetla gore o tle ka kwano mo di students tsa rona tsa Radio Ecclesia jalo ke go leboga go menagane gantsi di makatso for your support leng gore nna le gale ga ke itse ba bangwe ya ka o bakeng ke wa re thanks Michelle Dimapolokelo wa sweet sister. Now I have found my mentor and coach na sela ka re coachiwa ka tsele le tsele ma a bona na kile ka kgona bo pedisi jana ke ene motho ene tle re a le gautshwane hela be ke mo re Dima tla ka kwano a e kanye ka kwa re ke ke mo ka mo tshela petrol a rinya ke shapona ne ke tle go support ya ka tsala ile gone gore ke a go leboga tlhamma Modimo a tswella go segofatse.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Tlotlo ne mo go rara le mo go morwa le mo moyeng o boitshepo jaaka ne le mo simologong le jana le ka gale le ka metlha le metlha mo re tswetso se mo mo ke sa gago sa
ke letona la po motlhokotlhoko o tlhokwang go tlhokotsa le go tlhotlhorisa kong sa puo o reditse know your brethren.
Radio Ecclesia the
Listeners who
station.
wish to make a complaint are encouraged to firstly register the issue of concern with the Director of Communications of the Diocese of Gaborone. Should it not be resolved in the first instance, you are advised to request for the complaint to be escalated to the Bishop of the Diocese. If you are not happy with the response, you can refer your complaint to the Botswana Communication Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, to review and investigate.
O reditse Radio Ecclesia, motswedi wa thuto le kgothatso ya tumelo.
Moretsetso re kgaogana jalo ka tselentseng jalo re tla bo re kopana jalo gape mo nakong e tlang gakologela gore o no reditse jalo Radio Ecclesia the station that is there to inform and inspire your faith leina ile rona re mo ipule jalo ke gore o sa le jalo ka lerato le le kalo re go rata jalo go tswa jalo mo seromomeng se sa gago sa kereke katoliki motho etso tlhola sentle.